We're back with the chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, Congressman Jason Chaffetz of Utah, as our new poll shows the presidential race right now in a virtual tie. Congressman, tomorrow you're going to be releasing the findings of a cyber attack on the U.S. government's Office of Personnel Management. Thousands and thousands of people had a lot of their private personal information stolen. Can you give us the upshot? What's the bottom line? What happened here? Who was responsible for that hack?
Well, unfortunately, there are going to be people bombarding our personnel systems all the time. But there were more than 20 million people with personal identifiable information that was released to these nefarious actors out there. And it was preventable. I think we were misled in Congress. I think the president had put in Ms. Archuleta, the wrong person at the Office of Personnel Management. He's since corrected that. I believe in Beth Cobert, who's now in there. And I think the president picked a good person. But we got to have a zero tolerance. There has got to be zero trust in these computer networks. There's got to be dual authentication. There's got to be verification. Right now, we're just not operating at the optimum letter.
20 million federal workers and their families.
Millions of fingerprint.
They had a lot of private information.
Yes.
That were still. Who did it?
Well, I can't get into the details of that, but on our report, we're going to show that once we knew that this was happening, we did not take the right, make the right moves to make sure that we were extracting it out of the system.
Was a foreign government responsible? I know you don't want to tell us.
I do think it came from overseas, but I can't name that.
I have been told it was China, but I don't know if that's what you've concluded. Maybe you can give us an indication.
When I see classified information, I'm not going to go out and share it on a private.
So is that classified? Who was responsible?
I do believe it is classified, and I can't talk about that.
So who's got a stronger cyber attack capability, China or Russia?
Well, you got to worry about both. I mean, those are the two nation states that have the capability. There are others. There's a guy in a van down by the river who's probably pretty good at hacking into the system, too. You got to be ready for all actors.
Why would they want this information about employees, federal workers at the Office of Personnel Management? What is Russia or China or any other country? Why do they need this information?
Well, they actually got in through the Department of Interior, but once they were inside, they could go look at and map out basically the government of the United States. And if you're trying to figure out who's dealing in classified information, who's dealing with intelligence, who's dealing with all of those things that maybe they want to know about a country, they can figure out who's moving where, who's got what security clearances, what vulnerabilities they have, what does their fingerprint look like. I mean, if you are actually operating on behalf of the United States of America and doing some stuff that's maybe classified, you don't want that out in the information, and that was let out.
Is Russia hacking right now DNC, Democratic National Committee, other democratic institutions to try to have an impact on the outcome of the presidential election? The accusation is that the Russians want Trump elected.
I think there has to be an assumption from the United States that these outside entities, whether they be nation states or rogue individuals or terrorists, are probing and looking at not only Democrats, they're looking at Republicans, and they're looking at the federal government. And if you don't have the proper cleansing tools, if you don't implement the very basic hygiene on your systems, whether you're living in Iowa and you're looking at your banking information to somebody who serves at the CIA, look out, because they're coming to get it.
We haven't seen any evidence that Republican institutions, political parties, or anything like that were hacked, only Democratic.
Very concerned that the DNC was hacked. I think they should be pursued, and I think they should be absolutely prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I think one of the big burning questions for America...
Who should be prosecuted?
Well, yeah, nice try. I can't tell you exactly who it is.
But the foreign government or the foreign institution who did it, right?
I think one of the big policy questions for the country is how do you fire back in this cyber war? There is a cyber war that's going on, America. Wake up. It is happening as we speak right now. How you fight that, boy, we got some real good, smart people, but it is a tough political question and policy question.
Yesterday, the president said the U.S. has the strongest defensive and offensive capabilities in cyber warfare. That was seen as a real threat to some of these other foreign actors. You want to play this game, the United States has better capabilities.
The report we went out yesterday, though, 22+ million Americans who worked for the federal government, even made an application since the 1980s. Their information is in the hands of the bad guys.
Jason Chaffetz, Congressman, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.